The moment Alexandra Eala stepped off the plane, it was obvious this was more than an ordinary airport arrival. She wasn't coming home with a Wimbledon trophy in her hands. But judging by the thousands of fans waiting to welcome her, you never would have known the difference. The cheers started long before she appeared. Philippine flags filled the terminal. Families arrived hours early. Young tennis players carried rackets, hoping for an autograph. Supporters traveled from different cities just to witness a moment they believed would become part of Philippine sports history. After an unforgettable run at Wimbledon, Alexandra Eala returned home carrying something that couldn't be measured by trophies or prize money. She brought home belief. She showed millions of Filipinos that one of their own could compete on one of tennis' biggest stages against the world's best players. And that may have been her greatest victory of all. Throughout the tournament, Eala played with remarkable confidence. She refused to be intimidated by bigger names or higher-ranked opponents. Point after point, match after match, she proved that she belonged on the same court as the sports elite. Even after her Wimbledon journey came to an end, the conversation surrounding her only grew louder. International media praised her fearless style of play. Former players admired her composure under pressure. Fans from around the world discovered a rising star whose determination matched her talent. Back home, the excitement reached another level. Social media was flooded with welcome messages. News outlets covered every update on her return. Tennis clubs celebrated her achievements, while young athletes found a new role model to look up to. For many Filipinos, this wasn't simply about tennis anymore. It was about representation. It was about watching someone from the Philippines compete with confidence on one of the biggest stages in sports and proving that dreams once considered impossible could become reality. When Alexandra finally walked through the airport doors, the crowd erupted. Supporters called out her name. Phones filled the air as fans tried to capture the moment. Despite the overwhelming attention, Eala greeted everyone with the same humility that has become one of her defining qualities. She smiled, waved, stopped for photos, and acknowledged the people who had supported her throughout her journey. That simple gesture spoke volumes. Success hadn't changed who she was. If anything, it made her even more determined to represent her country with pride. For Eala, Wimbledon wasn't the finish line. It was another important step in a much bigger journey. Every match provided valuable experience. Every challenge became another lesson. Every victory built confidence that she could continue climbing the rankings and competing against the very best players in the world. Coaches believe that experiences like these shape future champions. And after watching Alexandra compete under the bright lights of Wimbledon, many believe her biggest achievements are still ahead. The welcome she received back home wasn't just a celebration of what she had already accomplished. It was a celebration of everything that might still be possible. Because for millions of Filipinos, Alexandra Eala is no longer just a promising young tennis player. She has become a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and hope. And if her recent performances are any indication, this remarkable story is only beginning. The biggest moments in sports are not always measured by trophies. Sometimes, they're measured by the way an entire country welcomes someone home. When Alexandra Eala's plane finally touched down in the Philippines, thousands of people were already waiting. They weren't celebrating a Grand Slam title. They weren't welcoming home a Wimbledon champion. They were celebrating something they believed mattered just as much: respect. Over the past 2 weeks, the 20-year-old left-hander had introduced herself to millions of tennis fans around the world. She walked onto one of the most famous stages in sports without fear, challenged some of the biggest names in women's tennis, and proved that a player from the Philippines could compete with anyone. By the time her Wimbledon journey came to an end, she had already won something no trophy could represent. She had earned the admiration of the entire tennis community. That was exactly why her return home became an emotional moment that nobody who witnessed it will ever forget. Long before her flight landed, the arrival area was already overflowing with supporters. Families came together carrying Philippine flags. Young tennis players wore their favorite Alexandra Eala shirts while holding tennis rackets, hoping they might receive a quick autograph. Some fans had traveled for hours from neighboring cities simply for the chance to see her in person, even if only for a few seconds. The excitement kept building with every passing minute. Television crews lined the entrance. Photographers prepared their cameras. Social media influencers streamed the event live as thousands more followed every update online. It didn't feel like an airport anymore. It felt like a championship parade. Then the automatic doors opened. Alexandra Eala walked into the terminal with a smile that immediately lit up the room. The crowd exploded. Cheers echoed through the building. Fans shouted her name from every direction. People waved flags above their heads while homemade banners filled the background with messages thanking her for making the country proud. Instead of rushing through security and heading straight for the exit, Eala slowed down. She waved. She smiled. She posed for photos. She greeted children. She thanked fans who had stayed awake night after night watching her matches from halfway across the world. It was obvious. This moment meant just as much to her as it did to everyone waiting. Because this welcome wasn't just about tennis. It was about what she had made people believe. Throughout Wimbledon, Alexandra played with a confidence that surprised many observers. She never looked intimidated by higher-ranked opponents. She attacked with conviction. She trusted her game. Even against experienced champions, she refused to play cautiously. Instead of protecting herself from mistakes, she forced her opponents to deal with her aggressive style. That fearless mentality quickly became one of the biggest talking points of the tournament. Commentators repeatedly praised not only her shot-making ability, but also her maturity. She handled pressure like someone who had spent years competing on the biggest stages, even though this was one of the most important tournaments of her young career. Every difficult situation seemed to reveal another layer of confidence. Every close game showed another example of her composure. Even when momentum shifted against her, she continued competing with the same calm determination that had carried her through the draw. Although her remarkable Wimbledon run eventually ended, very few people focused on the loss itself. Instead, they talked about everything she had accomplished. She had shown that Philippine tennis belonged on one of the sport's biggest stages. She had demonstrated that talent can emerge from anywhere. Most importantly, she had inspired an entirely new generation of young athletes who suddenly believed their own dreams might be possible too. That impact became visible almost immediately after she returned home. Across the Philippines, tennis coaches reported growing interest from young children asking their parents if they could start playing. Local tennis clubs noticed an increase in inquiries. Academies began seeing more families visit their facilities. Many coaches described it as something they had never experienced before. For years, basketball had dominated the country's sports culture. Boxing had produced national heroes. Volleyball had built massive followings. Tennis, however, had often remained in the background. Alexandra Eala was beginning to change that reality. Parents who previously knew very little about tennis suddenly found themselves watching highlights online. Children who had never picked up a racket before were now copying her forehand in neighborhood courts. Her influence extended far beyond tournament results. She was changing how an entire country viewed the sport. That kind of impact doesn't happen often. During interviews after arriving home, Eala remained exactly the same person fans had watched throughout the tournament. Calm, grateful, grounded. Rather than talking about rankings or headlines, she focused on appreciation. She thanked her parents. She thanked her coaches. She thanked the supporters who stayed awake late into the night to watch every match. She spoke about learning from every experience, both victories and defeats. For Alexandra, Wimbledon wasn't the finish line. It was another step forward, another lesson, another opportunity to grow. That mindset may be the biggest reason so many experts believe her future is even brighter than her present. Talent can open doors. Confidence can win matches. But humility and a willingness to keep improving often separate good players from truly great ones. Alexandra appears to understand that better than most athletes her age. Her success has also attracted attention beyond the tennis court. Major companies have expressed interest in partnerships. Sports organizations see her as one of the country's most recognizable young athletes. Media outlets continue following every tournament she enters. Many believe she represents the future of Philippine sports on the international stage. Yet despite all the attention, She continues carrying herself with the same quiet confidence that first impressed fans years ago. She isn't trying to become famous. She's trying to become better. And that's exactly why so many people continue believing in her. Looking ahead, the biggest challenges of her career are still waiting. The North American hardcourt season will test everything she learned during Wimbledon. Each tournament will bring tougher expectations. Every opponent will now recognize her name. Nobody will underestimate her again. That creates a completely different type of pressure. It's one thing to surprise the tennis world. It's another to prove you belong there every single week. But based on everything Alexandra has shown so far, pressure doesn't seem to discourage her. If anything, it seems to sharpen her focus. Every major breakthrough in her career has come when expectations were highest. Every challenge has pushed her to another level. That's why so many analysts believe Wimbledon wasn't the peak of her journey. It was simply the beginning of a much bigger story. The thunderous welcome she received at the airport wasn't just applause for what she had already accomplished. It was applause for what millions of Filipinos believe is still ahead. They weren't simply celebrating a successful tournament. They were celebrating possibility. The possibility that a young girl from the Philippines could someday lift one of tennis' biggest trophies. The possibility that more Filipino children would dream of playing professionally. The possibility that the country's place in world tennis had changed forever. Whether Alexandra Eala wins a Grand Slam next year or several years from now, one thing is already certain. She has inspired a generation. She has transformed the conversation around Philippine tennis. And she has shown the world that greatness isn't determined by where you're born. It's determined by how hard you're willing to work when nobody is watching. As her journey continues, millions of fans will continue following every match, every victory, and every lesson along the way. Because after Wimbledon, Alexandra Eala is no longer just another promising young player. She has become the face of a new era for Philippine tennis. And if this remarkable chapter taught the world anything, it's that her story is only getting started. As Alexandra Eala's incredible Wimbledon run captured headlines around the world, something even more powerful was happening far beyond the courts of London. Her success was beginning to change the way people viewed tennis, not only in the Philippines, but across the international sports community. For decades, Filipino athletes had already earned global respect in sports like boxing, basketball, and weightlifting. Tennis, however, had rarely been part of that conversation. That is exactly why Alexandra's breakthrough meant so much. She wasn't simply winning matches. She was opening a door that many people believed had always been closed. Throughout the tournament, every victory seemed to attract even more attention. Television networks featured her highlights. Sports websites analyzed her performances. Former champions praised both her composure and fearless style of play. Even fans who had never followed women's tennis suddenly wanted to know more about the young left-hander representing the Philippines. Her story was impossible to ignore. She wasn't arriving with the reputation of an established superstar. She was building that reputation one match at a time. Every round she advanced created another historic milestone. Every upset victory forced the tennis world to take her more seriously. What impressed analysts the most wasn't only her powerful ground strokes or her ability to attack under pressure. It was her mentality. Alexandra played with remarkable confidence regardless of who stood across the net. She never appeared overwhelmed by famous opponents. She trusted her preparation. She trusted her instincts. Most importantly, she trusted that she belonged on the same court as the world's best players. That confidence cannot be taught overnight. It comes from years of discipline, sacrifice, and believing in yourself long before anyone else does. Behind every televised match was a story that many fans never saw. Years of training, early mornings, long practice sessions, missed holidays, physical exhaustion, mental pressure, the constant challenge of competing far from home while carrying the expectations of an entire nation. Professional tennis can often be a lonely journey. Players spend much of the year traveling from country to country, adapting to different surfaces, climates, and time zones. Every tournament presents a new challenge. Every week offers another opportunity or another disappointment. Alexandra embraced that lifestyle with remarkable maturity. Rather than complaining about difficult schedules or tough opponents, she viewed every tournament as another chance to improve. That attitude has become one of her greatest strengths. Her coaches have often spoken about her willingness to learn. Even after impressive victories, she immediately begins searching for areas where she can become even better. That relentless pursuit of improvement separates elite athletes from everyone else. Success never makes her comfortable. Instead, it motivates her to work even harder. As her popularity continues to grow, so do the expectations surrounding her career. Every match now carries greater attention. Opponents prepare more carefully. Fans expect deep tournament runs. Media coverage becomes more intense with every ranking milestone. Handling those expectations may become one of the biggest tests of her career. Many talented athletes struggle after experiencing sudden fame. The pressure becomes overwhelming. Every loss feels bigger. Every mistake receives more attention than ever before. Alexandra appears determined not to let that happen. She continues approaching each tournament with the same mindset that helped her rise through the rankings. One match at a time, one practice at a time, one improvement at a time. That steady approach has earned the respect of fellow professionals throughout the tour. Players understand how difficult it is to remain grounded while receiving constant attention. Those who have shared the court with Alexandra frequently describe her as respectful, focused, and fiercely competitive. She competes with intensity, but she never loses sight of sportsmanship. That balance has made her one of the sport's most admired young players. Meanwhile, back in the Philippines, her influence continues expanding beyond tennis. Schools have started recognizing her achievements during student assemblies. Sports organizations use her story to encourage young athletes. Parents point to her journey as an example of what dedication can accomplish. She has become more than a successful tennis player. She has become a symbol of perseverance. Young girls especially have found inspiration in her story. Many now believe that international success is possible regardless of where they come from. Alexandra has shown them that dreams do not have geographical limits. Talent can emerge anywhere. Opportunity can be created through relentless effort. That message may become one of her greatest legacies. Long after rankings change and tournaments are forgotten, the inspiration she provides could influence thousands of future athletes. Some of those children watching her today may eventually represent the Philippines themselves. And many of them will point to Alexandra Eala as the reason they first picked up a tennis racket. That is how sporting history grows. One athlete inspires another. One generation motivates the next. As the tennis calendar moves toward the hard court season, excitement surrounding Alexandra continues to build. Every upcoming tournament represents another opportunity to prove that Wimbledon was not an isolated breakthrough. Her supporters believe the best tennis of her career is still ahead. Analysts believe her aggressive game can become even more dangerous on faster, hard courts. Opponents now understand they can no longer underestimate her. The element of surprise may be gone, but confidence has replaced it. Alexandra now knows she can compete with anyone. That realization often changes an athlete forever. It transforms possibility into belief. And belief can become one of the most powerful weapons in professional sports. Looking back, her emotional homecoming represented much more than the end of one successful tournament. It marked the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter filled with higher expectations, bigger opportunities, and even greater challenges. The cheers that welcomed her home reflected something deeper than national pride. They reflected hope. Hope that Philippine tennis has entered a new era. Hope that future generations will benefit from the path Alexandra has created. Hope that one remarkable journey can inspire countless others to chase dreams once considered impossible. Her story is still being written, and judging by everything she has accomplished so far, the most unforgettable chapters may still be waiting just ahead.